Let us talk about the absolute foundation of American gun culture, the traditional hunting rifle. If you travel anywhere from the wide open plains of the Midwest down into the dense pine thickets of the Deep South, you are going to see one common denominator. The bolt-action rifle is absolute royalty out here. It is not just a piece of metal and wood. Handing down a deer rifle is a sacred rite of passage in this country. Whether you are tracking whitetail, putting crosshairs on a massive elk, or doing pest control on feral hogs, a properly tuned rifle is a mandatory part of the lifestyle. Today we are out on the range looking at the undisputed heavyweights of the hunting world. We are diving deep into the history, the mechanics, and the raw performance of the platforms that built this industry. Stick with me, because by the end of this briefing, you will understand exactly why the American bolt gun still rules the roost. The Winchester Model 70. Let us kick things off with absolute royalty. The Winchester Model 70. Shooters have been treating this platform with heavy respect since 1935. It has gone toe-to-toe with every other major player on the market, and purists to this day still call it the rifleman's rifle. Winchester Repeating Arms Company essentially took the DNA of the guns that tamed the frontier, like the lever-action Model 1873 and the Model 1894, and engineered that same rugged survival instinct into a bolt gun. Durability is heavily baked into the Winchester name. Those vintage Model 70s relied on a heavy Mauser-style action. That means a massive claw extractor and true controlled round feeding. When you are out in the freezing rain and a massive buck is staring you down, you need to know your rifle will cycle no matter what. That claw gives you that absolute mechanical guarantee. But it was not just a utilitarian tool. The sharp checkering on that dark walnut stock turned this thing into functional art. When the boys came home from World War II and the American middle class exploded, this became the apex predator of the hunting camp. Winchester kept adapting too. Fast forward to 2018, and they are rolling these out chambered in modern calibers like 6.5 Creedmoor. The accuracy on these systems is famously bulletproof. You can heat up that barrel, send 1,000 rounds down range, and that receiver will hold its zero without flinching. It is a legacy piece that still dominates the modern hunting landscape. The Ruger American Rifle. Shifting gears, let us look at how you do budget-friendly engineering without producing absolute garbage. I am talking about the Ruger American Rifle. When Ruger dropped this platform back in 2011, they completely disrupted the market. They proved you could manufacture an affordable, mass-produced bolt gun that actually drives tacks. These rifles are incredibly lightweight. Slinging one over your shoulder for a 5-mile hike into the backcountry is an absolute breeze. And the ballistic yield you get for the price is frankly ridiculous. Ruger utilized some highly intelligent manufacturing processes here. They used heavily reinforced synthetic stocks built to take a brutal beating. They threw in cold hammer-forged barrels that print incredibly tight shot groups. And they engineered a proprietary integral bedding block system right into the stock. That means the action is locked down like a bank vault, keeping the barrel completely free-floated for repeatable precision. Plus, they give you a fully user-adjustable trigger right out of the factory box. You can dial that pull weight down exactly how you like it. They offer this platform in everything from the heavy-hitting 30-06 Springfield down to your standard .223 Remington. It does not matter if you are stalking deep timber whitetails or popping coyotes at 300 yards. There is a Ruger American configuration built for your exact mission. And here's the kicker. You can regularly find these on the rack for roughly $400. Normally, $400 buys you a disposable plastic toy. But Ruger packed this thing with high-end features that humiliate rifles costing twice as much. That is exactly why working-class hunters have made the Ruger American a staple in gun safes across the nation. The Remington Model 700. You cannot have a serious conversation about American firearms without putting heavy respect on the Remington Model 700. This specific bolt action has been stacking freezers and ringing steel plates since 1962. The bolt throw is like glass, the accuracy is legendary, and its operational footprint goes way past the local deer stand. Remington has pumped out over 5 million of these actions across roughly 900 different configurations. When a manufacturer hits numbers like that, it means the market heavily trusts the product. Under the hood, this is a classic push-feed system. You run the bolt, and it shoves the cartridge directly into the pipe. But the real magic is Remington's legendary 3 rings of steel. When you lock that bolt down, your cartridge is protected by 3 distinct layers of ordnance-grade metal. You have the recessed bolt face wrapping the case head. You have the breech of the barrel surrounding that. And finally, the massive forward receiver ring enclosing everything. It creates an incredibly strong, bomb-proof pressure vessel. That rigidity translates directly to dead-on accuracy. And listen, the military absolutely noticed. Back in the 1980s, the United States Army took the Model 700 action and built the M24 sniper weapon system around it. By 2010, they upgraded that same footprint into the M2010 Enhanced Sniper Rifle. They literally took the old .308 Winchester actions and rebarreled them for the punishing .300 Winchester Magnum, and the receivers handled the extra chamber pressure flawlessly. That tells you everything you need to know about the structural integrity of this gun. For the civilian shooter, it means you have an action that is equally at home winning long-range precision matches as it is dragging through the mud on an autumn hunt. It is battle-tested, it is highly secure, and it remains an absolute titan in the bolt gun world. The Browning bar. Let us pivot for a second and look at the semi-automatic side of the house. Enter the Browning bar. Now, I need to clarify something quickly. We are not talking about the heavy, full-auto trench broom that our boys used to stack bodies in World War II, but the bloodline is absolutely connected. John Moses Browning designed the original military automatic rifle back in 1918. That squad support weapon was dropping .30-06 with a cyclic rate that terrified the enemy. That military DNA eventually evolved into the sleek sporting rifle we have today. The modern Browning BAR is a highly refined gas-operated hunting machine. It feeds from a detachable box magazine, usually holding 3 to 4 rounds depending on your cartridge choice, and they chamber this platform in serious calibers. You have your standard 7mm and .308 Winchester. You have your .223 Remington. But if you step up to the safari grade, you can run the massive .338 Winchester Magnum. If you are trekking through grizzly country or putting crosshairs on a 1,000-pound bull moose, that is the exact kinetic energy you want. What surprises a lot of shooters is how well this rifle handles. Even in those heavy Magnum chamberings, the BAR typically weighs in right around 8 pounds. That is only about 16 ounces heavier than a standard bolt gun in the exact same caliber. And because it is gas-operated, the recoil impulse is incredibly smooth. The action absorbs that rearward spike, allowing you to stay right on the glass for a lightning-fast follow-up shot. That beautiful synergy of firepower, mobility, and recoil management makes the BAR a highly trusted asset for big game hunters all over the globe. The Weatherby Vanguard. Finally, we are closing out this loadout with the Weatherby Vanguard. Roy Weatherby started his company back in 1945, and he immediately established a reputation for pushing the ballistic envelope. Out west, the Weatherby name is heavily associated with flat-shooting, hyper-velocity hunting rigs. But in the 1960s, Weatherby made a highly strategic move. They partnered up with Howa Machinery over in Aichi, Japan, to develop the Vanguard series. The mission was to offer a more accessible rifle for the blue-collar shooter who could not afford the massive price tag of the flagship Mark V series. But let me be crystal clear. Affordable does not mean cheap. The Vanguard quickly proved to be one of the tightest shooting, most relentless hunting rifles Weatherby ever put their stamp on. It secured a permanent home in the trucks and scabbards of American hunters everywhere. Howa handles the machining for the action in the barrel, and their tolerances are exceptionally strict. The Vanguard action is basically a hybrid. It takes the ultra-reliable M16 style extractor and marries it to a robust Mauser-inspired bolt. The result is butter-smooth feeding and brutal, no-fail extraction. If you feed this rifle premium, match-grade ammunition, it is an absolute laser beam right out of the cardboard box. In fact, modern Vanguards ship with a factory sub-MOA guarantee. They promise you can stack 3 rounds inside a 1-inch square at 100 yards. That is phenomenal consistency. Weatherby also drops in a remarkably crisp 2-stage trigger. It hits a clean, predictable wall, making those high-stress precision shots significantly easier. And the chambering lineup is massive. We are talking 16 different calibers. You can run a .223 Remington for smoking groundhogs, or step all the way up to the legendary .375 Holland & Holland Magnum for dangerous African game. The Vanguard gives you that top-tier Weatherby prestige and surgical accuracy, but keeps the price tag grounded in reality. All right, folks, that is the sitrep on the greatest hunting rifles to ever hit the American market. We covered the historical heavy hitters like the Remington Model 700 and the Winchester Model 70. We looked at the modern budget brawlers like the Ruger American, and we showcased high-end performers like the Weatherby Vanguard. Every single platform on this list earned its stripes through decades of blood, mud, and frozen mornings out in the real world. Now it is your turn to sound off. Head down to the comments section and let me know what rifle you are taking into the woods this season. Is it a heavily worn family heirloom, or did you just pull a brand new rig off the shelf? I read all your feedback, so let me know. If you got some solid intel from this breakdown, smash that like button. Make sure you subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell so you do not miss our next tactical briefing. Stay safe out there, keep your powder dry, shoot straight, and I will see you on the range.